Welcome to Kim's Bioproduction Academy. Today, we want to understand about this bone, and this bone is called the humerus. Where is the humerus located? It's located in the upper forearm. So we are saying this one is our arm, that is a limb. So it's the forelimb, these are forelimb, our legs are our hind limbs. So we have discussed this one, which is the lower forearm or forelimb. Then we have the upper section. So from this point to this point is what we are calling the humerus. So this one is the humerus. And you can check this humerus, you can check this end. This end is the head of the humerus. We're saying it's the head of what? The humerus. And the head of the humerus will be articulating with the glenoid cavity of the scapula. This one is a scapular bone, and you can check it's triangular. And this bone is found at this region. So this bone is for this region, and we are saying, we are calling it what? Scapula. And at the scapula, you can check a cavity that we call it the glenoid cavity, and this glenoid cavity articulates with the head of the humerus, and we form something called we're saying what? The head of the humerus articulates with the glenoid cavity, and this will allow rotatory movement of the arm. So our arms can do what? Can rotate, and it will rotate at an angle of 360 degrees. That is in all plants. And so we are saying the rotation, it can rotate at an angle of what? 360 degrees. And so this makes it to do what? This arm, when we rotate, it can rotate at 360 degrees. But majorly this cannot happen because of the presence of muscles and even what? The ligaments and the tendons. So from that point, that is the first one, we have this extension. From this fore end, we have an extension at this upper section, and we have another protrusion at this other end. So this protrusion at the far end is what we are calling greater tuberosity. This one is the lesser tuberosity. Greater tuberosity, lesser tuberosity. And the role for the tuberosities is to increase surface area for muscle attachment. It will increase what? Surface area for muscle attachment. From that point, you can check there is a length of a bone here. So we are speaking about that length bone. So this length is what we call a shaft. And the role of the shaft is just to increase surface area for muscle attachment. Then we have, you can check from this point, we get a, what can I call it? A hole, yeah. So we call it olecranon fossa. We call it what? Olecranon fossa. And that is where the origination and of those muscle attachment will be. Then I told you about this groove when we were discussing about the ulnar radius, and this was called a trochlear groove. You can check its groove. It's grooved. So this is what I'm speaking about, the groove. You can check the grooves, and these grooves are I'm calling what? It's what we are calling trochlear groove, and the trochlear groove was articulating with this point, which we call it what? The trochlear notch. So the trochlear groove with the trochlear notch, and we said what was happening here? It was allowing movement just at one plane. So this is our movement of our arm, and it will be controlled by muscle, right? So it formed a rotation, not rotation, but movement at an angle of 180 degrees. That is at one plane. That is the end of discussion of this bone. But again, sorry, we have another swelling here. You can check at this point. So this point is what we are calling a condyle. It's called what? A condyle. That is the end with humerus. Humerus. Humerus.